Welcome to the Literary Prose Presents It's More Than Just Words. Today we'll talk about general education and the foundation of your book. I'm Colleen.
And I'm Peter.
You might wonder what gives us the right to talk to you about publishing a book. Well, I have a background in English literature. I've been proofing and editing for years, and I've assisted over 7 authors editing and writing their books, and I belong to a writers club. But I was always missing the publishing part where I could help authors reach that next step to publishing and beyond. In 2015, I was awarded the Jan B. King Memorial Scholarship to become a certified professional author's assistant. I completed the certification course, and now I can assist authors in every aspect of the publishing process, everything from manuscript creation to publication to marketing and other duties that some PVAs don't offer, such as editing, proofing, publishing, and marketing. And Peter and I have a full team to support with all aspects of the publishing process. We have graphic designers on board, book designers, virtual assistants, marketers, professional editors, web designers, and much more.
Hi, everyone. Just a little background on me. I am a recent graduate of Morehead State University in music with an emphasis in saxophone. I am the VP of Operations here at the Literary Prose, and I like to deal a lot with our social media and the marketing side of the business, and I really love to write all of our blogs.
So in case you're interested in joining and purchasing the rest of our seminars after today's free seminar, here's just a little calendar of events for the remaining courses. Today is obviously the first course, and we're talking about the foundation of your book. Our second class is WRTE 101, More Than Words on a Page. During that session, we'll be exploring how to organize your book, getting your facts straight, writing your book, working with editors, and all the processes to help you reach the publishing stage. During our third session, WRTE 102, Publishing, You Have a Choice. We'll talk about the pros and cons of self-publishing versus traditional publishing, why you need reviews, and what the difference is between professional, peer, and target reader reviews, and much more. The actual publishing process is so detailed, we could have made this 2 or 3 hours, but our expert, Janica Smith, will fill you in on all the aspects of publishing during her interview.
Our fourth class is WRTE 103, Marketing, a Tactical Approach to Increasing Your Audience. You'll learn about the types of book tours, promoting on your website, the buzz about PR and why it's necessary, how social media works for promoting, why Amazon, how to sell in bookstores, and more. After this class, we're excited for our Capstone event, which takes place April 1st of 2016. Our capstone, tying it all together, interviews with industry experts, plus their bonuses. We have in-depth interviews from experts in the field and authors who have been through the process, what they know now and what they wish they'd known way before they wrote. Are you ready to start? Here we go. Since you have chosen to join us in this class, we can reasonably assume that you are either writing your book currently or have plans to start on your book soon. As the title of our course states, it's more than just words. To help you, we have a nifty little guide for you to follow along your pathway to success. When writing your book, there are 4 major processes that your book goes through. Pre-writing, what happens before the pen hits the page. Your topic, your time frame, your research, and your outline. Writing and editing, when you sit down and write, working with an editor. The publishing part, putting your book together. And finally, marketing, making money off of your book.
So let's talk about pre-writing. The first step to writing your book happens before you even put your pen to paper. We call it the pre-write. There are many things that successful authors do before they start writing. It doesn't matter if you are a fiction or a nonfiction writer. There are many things you can do to start off on the right foot. Setting goals for your book. Are you expecting to write a short ebook? Do you want to write an in-depth book of 500 pages or more? Do you want to write a book to be on the New York Times bestseller list? What are your goals? These are all good questions to ask yourself to help you guide you through your path. But just because you set these goals doesn't mean they can't change. Maybe you want to expand the length of your book, or maybe your topic would be too redundant after the first 300 or 400 pages. Remember to always go back and revise your goals so you can keep you and your book on track and primed for success in whatever way you define it. Success means different things for different people. Do you want to self-publish or traditionally publish your book? The biggest challenge to starting your book is finding the topic. Now, you can approach this through a different number of ways, but the two most common are, number one, you pick a topic. Pick something that interests you or one you want to learn about and begin research on that topic. Or number two, you gather all of your personal resources, your intellectual property that shows that you're the expert and that will become your topic. A couple hints. Review your goals. For example, do you have enough material if you want your book to be 500 pages, or do you have too much information for a short 100-page ebook?
Now comes time to gather your audience. To achieve your goals, you need to reach your audience. Who will read your book? What problem does your reader need solved? Is your book geared specifically towards women, men? What about young professionals or children? Here is a great place in the process to review your goals. Will your audience make you a bestseller? Then the next step would be to create a working outline. Note the word working. This means that the outline can change just like your goals. Now, each of you probably outline a bit differently, and that's okay. But there are parts that you cannot skip. Each outline should carry the topic of your book, the thesis. A good outline will also outline the chapters of your book more in depth, what the individual chapters will include, what will your book have different sections, either chapter groupings or groupings within each chapter. Some might even go so far as to outline every other few paragraphs. Again, this is a working outline, so it can and will change. If you haven't figured it out yet, this might be a good chance to review and edit your goals.
Now, another question you might want to ask yourself and answer is whether you are going to write the book yourself or if you want to work with a ghostwriter. Ghostwriters work closely with authors and write your book. However, all of the credit goes to the author. I've spoken with many potential authors who just don't start because of time, because they don't think they can write, etc. And the answer is use a ghostwriter. And in our interview later on with our experts, we'll talk with James Ranson, who is a ghostwriter, and he has great information about how to use one and what's expected and how to team up with one and work as a team and partnership. Next is research. Now's the time when you gather your sources, conduct interviews, check your facts, and any other research your book might need, so you can obtain permissions for the information used.
Here comes writing. The writing and editing portion of the book starts now. Now that you have a good base, you can start off on writing your book. Here, you will use the information you've gathered and your outline to put together your work. Where should you start, you might ask? You don't have to start at the beginning. You can start really wherever your heart desires. Some people like to start at the end, or maybe really love working with clients, or maybe you know so much about finances from your research that you just have to get the words on paper right away. The choice is yours, and there is no wrong way to begin. Coming in for an appearance is your editor. Working with an editor from the time you start writing is crucial. Besides edits you do, authors should never be their own editors. You'll need to have a very open and honest working relationship with your editor. Be prepared to have changes or rewrites, but that doesn't mean you're a bad writer. The editor is there to make you and your words achieve what you have set out to do. Some writers work chapter by chapter, and some work in chunks, whatever works best for you and your editor. Did you know your book can and should be edited more than once? There are many different levels of editing that we will talk about more in our other classes coming up. One of the challenges a writer can face is deciding when a book is finished. This doesn't mean that you will not write anymore on the book or that you will not need to do more edits. This just puts your book into a real and necessary scope. You can also decide here whether you want to have acknowledgments, a preface, an introduction, or other parts of a book that are not the main body of work. You also want to secure reviews. Two types of reviews are peer and targeted readers. Peer reviews let you know if any information is incorrect or left out that would benefit the reader. And a target reader review comes from various factors: your demographics, psychographics, and behaviors of people who might be interested in your book. And they also provide feedback on your book to assist you in making any necessary changes.
Okay, let's talk about publishing. Look back at all the goals you've set. How did you want to publish your book? As we've said before, you can always revise those goals, and now comes the time to act. Publishing is a huge process, and today we're going to cover some of the basics, but in our third session, we'll cover all the ins and outs of publishing. Now let's talk about some of what you need to know. Whether you choose self-publishing or traditional publishing, there are some things that you must do. You've probably thought of this, but do you have a title for your book? Before you go much further, a title is needed. Different books can have the same title, but you want to make sure you do research on the demographics, your audience, etc. Again, we'll cover this further in our publishing session. Self-publishing versus traditional publishing. The two types of publishing are self and traditional. We will just touch on the process here, but know that we will be taking you through the process and the pros and cons of each type of publishing during our publishing course. Again, this is a very large section and a lot of material to go over. If you choose self-publishing, this does not mean you have to do it all by yourself. Here's the part of the process where you work with many people to help give your book the best chance for success. You only get what you and others put into your book. We will just mention these folks here, but we can take a closer look at them throughout our series.
First and foremost, to self-publish, you need to create a publishing company if you have not already done so. It's just like setting up a regular company. Design is a big part of the self-publishing process. You have the front cover, back cover, spine, and interior. But the design is much more than that. Not only do you need to design what will be on the covers and in the book, you must also decide on a size for the book. Two designers will be used by most people in this step. There's the graphic designer. Did you know that purchasers of books decide within 5 seconds if they want a book based on the cover? That's huge. And the other designer is the book designer, who works with the interior portions of your book. The interior of your book is an important part of your overall design. To name a few aspects of the interior, you have the copyright page, the dedication, acknowledgments, foreword and preface, the table of contents, and more. And this is when setting a finishing point for your book can become very, very important.
Okay, here comes the fun part of self-publishing, protecting your book. For each book you write, you need multiple things to make your book marketable. You need an ISBN number, a barcode, a Library of Congress number, and most importantly, you need to remember to register for a copyright. Choosing a printer. There are different printers you can use, and each printer is different and works well for different types of authors. Here, you should look at what each printer offers and look at your goals to determine which printer works best for you and your book. Now, we talk about traditional publishers. They take most of the hard work away from the author themselves. In order to work with a traditional publisher, you will have to write a book proposal and complete a competitive analysis. Each publisher is different, so you will need to work with each company's guidelines. They offer a contract, where authors are paid up front, and that is one advantage to working with a traditional publisher. With a traditional publisher, you will most likely be forced to sign all of your intellectual property away that comes with the book, and you'll have to sign that over to the publisher, and that is one of the cons to working with a traditional publisher.
Now, marketing your book is the only way that you will make your book reach the audience you need it to or want it to. What most people do not realize is that this is the author's responsibility, whether you work with a publisher or you self-publish your book. Now, just because we talk about marketing last does not mean it is the last part of the process. Marketing is a separate process that runs concurrently with the rest of your book. It starts when you begin writing and continues far into the future, days, months, years, or even decades after you finish writing. There are many ways that you can market your book, and we will just be focusing on some of the biggest points today. Our final course will be filled with an hour of marketing, and you will also hear Diana Ennin, our marketing expert, on the last day during our Telesummit. There are three major areas in which you can promote your book. There is the old-fashioned word of mouth, there is media relations, and then there is the internet. It is important for authors to promote themselves as well as their book because readers will most likely buy a book if they know the author.
You can spread your word through people, especially if you are writing a business or a self-help book. There are many different organizations you can use for networking or speaking that can grab readers. Also, you could go on a book tour where you go to different locations around your city, state, nation, or beyond to sign your book or do book readings. Through the media, you can accomplish much more by reaching more people than you can by reach yourself. There are many publications that you can publish stores in. There are reviewers who will read your book and write to their readers. There's the news media where you can go on local, national, or syndicated shows or both TV and radio to promote your book. One necessary tool you must have is a media kit, which we'll discuss in our marketing session. Now comes the ever-changing web promotions. A website is necessary to promote yourself and your book. This is where many authors fall short. They don't think they need a website. Here, you can use your website to sell your book directly to your readers and to promote not only your current book, but yourself as an author and all of your upcoming works. The biggest player in online sales is Amazon. We'll discuss Amazon Advantage, Amazon Central, Amazon Author Pages during our marketing class, as it will take up a little bit more time than we have here. On Amazon, you can sell your book both in hardcover, softcover, and ebook formats. Another great way to promote your book is to use social media. This is where you can find your target audience that you researched way back when you started to better find readers who would enjoy reading your book. There are many social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, Tumblr, and so many more, and more are popping up every day. Use these sites to your advantage. The biggest way to make your book successful is to use more than one of these marketing tools. Successful authors will take parts of each area to be a part of their overall marketing strategy. People will only buy your book if they have heard about you or your book.
There are many tools and experts needed to publish your book, and we're going to talk about a few of those right now. Some of the experts that you're going to need are a book coach. A book coach helps you create goals, makes you accountable, and provides feedback, just to name a few things. Book designers are familiar and knowledgeable with programs such as Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and use special fonts, photos, illustrations, colors, and have a knowledge of special formatting for books to be printed. You also have the copy editor and editor. These are different types of editing, so you do need different types of editors for the different stages of your book. For quality, most authors use two different types of editors for their book, and authors should never proof their own work after the self-editing process. And when your Aunt Susie says she's a great editor and knows English, that's great, but you need someone who is a professional and not a friend or a family member. If you want to be professional, find professionals. A ghostwriter. As discussed a little earlier, some people feel they have a story, but find it difficult to come up with the words for their story. So they work with a ghostwriter, but the ghostwriter does not receive credit for writing the book. The author does. There's a graphic designer who will help you with the covers, the illustrations, logos, and any other graphic work for your book. It is said that people choose a book within 5 seconds of looking at the cover. That's amazing, like we said before. Indexers. Indexers use their skills to take the subject matter of your book and put it into a logical index. There are many ways that this process can be completed, so again, here is a place where a professional is needed.
Now let's talk about marketing. Marketing experts put together a marketing plan before the book is ever printed and continues years after. Their job is to spread the word about you and your book. A photographer. You need a professional headshot for your marketing materials, including your author one sheet, your media kit, etc. Your book might have other photos that need to be shot professionally also. Printers are an important part of the self-publishing process. Some that we work with are CreateSpace or Lightning Source. These are suggested printers. Different printers offer different options, and we'll cover these more in our publishing class. Publishing experts help you through the process of publishing. Whether self or traditionally publishing, they can be your right-hand person through the entire process. We'll go more into detail in week 3 and during our interview with our publishing expert, Janica Smith. You'll also need a web designer. Having a website for marketing you and your book and ultimately any products is crucial in today's world. A great web designer helps you build your online presence, and it's worth every penny. A certified professional author's assistant. PVAAs know what is involved in the process of writing a book, what to do, when to do it, and how much it will cost. While they do not replace any of the experts above, they have a team in place so authors do not have to find the experts on their own. Each PVAA has their own skill set as well and can perform some of the above roles. For instance, editing, publishing, marketing, etc. But most of their role is to coordinate all of the processes to make sure the right steps are taken at the right time so that the author can focus on what they do best, write. The PVAA focuses on the tasks that are much more than words.
Now, if you have any questions, you can email us at colleen@mcolleenwheatmartian.com or peter@mcolleenwheatmartian.com, and we'll be sure to answer you. If you enjoyed today's little teleseminar, you can go to our website and buy the remaining 3 teleseminar series courses, as well as our 8 expert interview in which we talk with experts who have been both authors and those who have helped authors working through the process of writing their book.